What's happening? No video? Just going? Okay. All right. Not doing it tonight? No. We're just going? All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the City of Farmers Branch regular City Council meeting. It is Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. As I started the study session off with, it is Groundhog's Day. I did not have the answers at the time. I do have them now. Phil did see his shadow, so we have 6 more weeks of winter. It's very unfortunate for all of us, but it is what it is. But we'll go ahead and begin with our invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Rotano.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for watching over us and for allowing us to be here today, serving our city and listening to the needs of our residents. We pray that you continue to protect all those here today, those watching from home, our first responders, healthcare heroes, and frontline workers who continue to keep us safe. Please grant us the ability to work together in harmony and give us the wisdom to do what is right for our city and our residents. It is in your most blessed name we pray. Amen. Now for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas Pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Next up is our ceremonial items. And first up, we talked about this, Coach, last year when you all were here and said that we hope you'd be back and receive another one. And so I'm very grateful and proud that you guys delivered not only on that request, but also on that promise. And so first off, we got a proclamation presenting Paris Episcopal Panther Division I title football team. So the proclamation, Panther Day at Paris Episcopal School, whereas Paris Episcopal School's Midway campus serves over 750 students in 3rd grade through 12th grade and is home of Panther athletics. And whereas originally designed by I.M. Pei for ExxonMobil, nearly 50 acres of ground and buildings now serve students to prepare for life after college. And whereas despite everything that made 2020 a challenge, Paris Episcopal achieved their 2nd consecutive Texas Association of Private and Parochial Schools Division I title in football with a 42-28 win over Fort Worth Nolan, resulting in a 10-1 record for the season. Whereas this success resonates with the athletic philosophy at Paris Episcopal to further the mission of the school using athletics to build future leaders with an emphasis on excellence and focus on academics, athletics, student-athlete welfare, diversity, equity, advocacy, and school relations. And whereas football is a team sport, and tonight we recognize the time, energy, and talent from the champion Paris Episcopal Panthers and the sacrifices that were made to get us to this point. So now, therefore, I, Robert C. Dye, Mayor of the City of Farmers Branch, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby recognize February 2nd, 2021 as Panther Day in honor of Paris Episcopal's football team for winning the Division I title in football. So accompanying that is also a Mayor's Certificate of Achievement. This certificate is presented to each player from the Panther team in recognition of your achievement, earning Parish Episcopal School their second consecutive Texas Association of Private School and Parochial Schools TAPS Division I title in football. Each one of you will get one of these when they'll come up. I know not everyone's here, so I figured best to hand it to you, but also from our friends at Big Game Sports, local company here, designing wonderful footballs, is also prepared a commemorative football for you all. Congratulations, Parish Episcopal School, Parish Episcopal Panthers, back-to-back state champions. City of Farmers Branch is proud to recognize the 2020 Parish Episcopal Panthers for their success, commitment, hard work, and perseverance through an unprecedented season. Go Panthers. Coach, I know you have a few things you want to share, and you can bring the whole team up here for pictures and everything else.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you guys for this incredible recognition. I said it last year, we'd be back, and like Mr. Mayor said, we held true to our word because of these guys right here. I'm standing here getting a lot of the credit, but this year, instead of me just talking, taking the time to talk, I want to call each one of these guys that are here out by name and give them the recognition they deserve. So we got Blake Youngblood, Austin Sattler, Keegan Addison, Aiden Gilmore, Jalen Hall-Wright, Kenneth Borders, Diego Santillana, Andrew Paul, Nathaniel Hill, Jeremiah Bodwin, and Joe Mahary. I think that's everybody. And then we got some of our great coaches. Who am I missing? We got some of our great coaches back there too, Coach Sublett, and Coach Corey Harbor. Without these guys, this incredible accomplishment isn't possible, and I want to say in front of everybody the sacrifice they had to make to get this done during the pandemic was also like playing a third opponent each week. These guys sacrificed all year long, gave up their social life, gave up basically everything to chase this goal and accomplish this goal in order to be back here this year, so we're incredibly appreciative of the recognition. We thank you guys for your support in the community, and we appreciate you guys. And before we go, I want to give the mayor, we stepped it up a notch too this year, so we got you a official back-to-back shirt that we want you to have on behalf of the Panthers. Appreciate you guys, and thank you so much. Proud to represent the City of Farmers Branch. And real quick, before we go, can we get a picture real quick?
Right across the front of this.
Oh, look, there's one of our Captain Jai Moores here too.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Lock up? That's all right. All right. Thank you guys. We'll see you back here again next year. Absolutely. Yep, we'll see you guys.
Okay. Mr. Proclamation.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Next is E2. presentation of a proclamation recognizing February as Boards and Commissions Appreciation Month within the City of Farmers Branch. Whereas, Mayor and City Council has designated the month of February as a time to recognize the hard work and dedication of volunteer appointed officials to standing boards and ad hoc committees. And whereas last year, more than 100 citizens representing the City of Farmers Branch served during COVID-19 by safely and actively participating in their respective areas and adapting to continuing to meet. And whereas our boards and commissions serve an important function in molding decisions for our community, acting as a voice of the residents, and providing stewardship of the city's assets and opportunities. And whereas they help shape policies that keep our city moving forward in the right direction, and their impact can be witnessed throughout the community in projects, city services, and events. And whereas the City of Farmers Branch is proud and committed to encourage its residents to continue contributing through boards and commissions to engage its residents and leaders to make an impact. Now, therefore, I, Robert C. Dye, Mayor of the City of Farmers Branch, do hereby declare the month of February is Boards and Commissions Appreciation Month in the City of Farmers Branch, and urge our residents to recognize the positive impact of volunteer appointed officials in our community. And enough can't be said, not only on my account, but also from my fellow city council members and from our city staff for the time, energy, and effort that you put in. You truly make a difference. We understand the hours that you put in, the care, and what you do that goes above and beyond, your normal call of duty. And I know that, some people probably take a lot of the stuff for granted, but, a lot of the wonderful amenities that we have, a lot of the things that we enjoy this city was built on the backs of you and your minds and your effort. So we can't thank you enough for that. And while we weren't able to have our standard boards and commissions appreciation dinner this year, our wonderful staff of Amy, Sarah, and Valerie have worked, and Rachel have worked very hard to figure out ways to make it up to you to show that appreciation. So you'll be getting letters, gift baskets, some gift cards to our wonderful local restaurants to kind of help not only express our appreciation, but also to kind of give back to the community as well, especially during this time. Anything we can do to help our small businesses is also very appreciative. So just want to extend my appreciation and just congratulate you all. And for anyone out there that isn't on a board or commission, time to apply is now, and we always look for new and eager minds to join and help make a difference. And so with that, we'll go to the only reason anyone shows up to that dinner is for the awards. I'm just kidding. It's for the fun that we all get to have together without having to do really any work. I'm going to start with the presentation of the Mayor's Award of Excellence in Leadership. And this is an award recognizes an individual who over time has demonstrated a longstanding commitment to our city, not only embraces leadership roles within our city and boards, but does so with a servant's heart. This individual steps up to the challenge, always volunteers, and over the course of this last year has just made an impact through their individual effort. And so this year, I want to award that to, I'll read it. I'm going to come up here in a second, but in appreciation of your service and dedication, we present Johannes Hilkema with the Mayor's Award of Excellence in Leadership. You win that award, you got to say a few things. So.
I got to make a speech. Well, I'm a retired teacher, so that's not hard for me to do, is to give a speech. But it's a pleasure to serve Farmers Branch, and I serve on this committee with the Park and Preservation and Restoration Board, and it's a great place to work. The Historical Park is a great place to visit. And under the leadership of Ann Christmas over there, we've done, I think, made an impression. So come out and see the park. Come out and see the park, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it.
So next is E4, which is the presentation of the Mayor's Award of Excellence Board of the Year. And, you know, in this one, we're meant to recognize a group of appointed volunteers for their collective effort to significantly develop and implement new ideas for our city. And, you know, when you look at what's going on with the rec center, when you look at the dog park, when you look at, you know, the lights in Rawhide Park, and a lot of other things that are enhancing the beauty of our city and the ways that people are able to engage, you know, we look at, you know, there was a lot of heartburn over the decision to make the dog park. But, you know, with y'all's effort, with y'all's lead, you know, we've seen how successful it's been. You know, it's one of our most visited parks, talked about, shared, you know, across the Metroplex. And so, you know, just knowing what the body of work that you did this past year, knowing what we're working towards in the coming years, you know, just wanted to recognize all of your efforts. And these members who won this year, when I call your name, if you are here, come up. I'll present you with one of these fine trophies. And then since the chair is here, we'll let her say a few words. And of course, the emeritus wants to speak as well. You know, she always has something to say. You can let her do the same. But Chair Jan Woolridge. Barbara Leedy. Christy Diamond. David Merritt. Stephen Root. Bob Stewart. Sarah Langhorst. Mark Trainer. Susan Mathis. Our 2020 Board of the Year.
Well, Mayor, thank you very much. We all enjoy what we do and enjoy giving back to the city in this way. One of the things I would like to point out, though, is that without the staff and their creativity and their hard work, we would not be able to do all the things we do. This year, or 2020, with all the COVID challenges, they won local, regional, and national awards for the programs they came up with and the way they executed things safely. So I really want to give the shout out to them because they really are the feet on the ground doing the work. When we just try to advise and guide and work with them, and it's been a pleasure to work with that group. They are really hard workers and very pleasant to work with. So thank you very much.
We'll give one final one to Margaret Young as well. Got to keep surprising you, you know? Come on.
Having worked with many, many park boards for 30-some years, the Parks and Rec boards, this is an outstanding board, and you should be really appreciative of the park the leadership that we have. Mike and Rachel and all the ones, Charles back there, everybody that's out there that helps make this possible. None of us who are volunteers could do it without the help of the staff and all of you sitting up here. But anyway, thank you for giving this to them particularly. I am staying active. I am coming to the board meetings and trying to kind of keep them on their toes by challenging things. And they challenge me every day. And of course, I appreciate Mayor Guy, who all of you know I taught when he was 3 years old. And we appreciate what you do. So thank you very much.
So E5 is the presentation of the Texas Chapter of American Planning Association 2020 Richard R. Lilly, FAICP, Planning Excellence Program Certificate Achievement to the Planning Department. So the Texas Chapter of the American Planning Association presents to the City of Farmers Branch Planning Department its 2020 Certificate Achievement for the Richard R. Lilly FAICP Planning Excellence Program. This certificate recognizes planning excellence in municipalities through the state, including professional planning standards demonstrated by the planning staff and the support exhibited by the City Council and Planning and Zoning Commission. More specifically, the City of Farmers Branch meets the chapter's goals for increasing awareness for professional planning, recognizing planning departments which meet certain professional requirements, enhancing neighborhood and citizen recognition of planning efforts, encouraging the funding of professional training for commissioners and staff, and aiding in economic development and community image. The Texas Chapter of the American Planning Association thanks the City of Farmers Branch for its continued support of the community's planning program. So we have his award here, the Certificate of Achievement, Richard R. Lilly, FAICP Program for Planning Excellence, presented to the City of Farmers Branch, recognizing a commitment to the professional planning by city administration, elected and appointed officials, and exemplary professional standards demonstrated by the planning staff. Awarded by the Texas Chapter of the American Planning Association, Chance Sparks, AICP, CNU-A Chapter President. So, just we have a very talented staff here who I know has to put in long hours, a lot of work, and put up with a lot of demands. Not only that, but balancing 6 different opinions at any one time, plus all of our commissioners who get to weigh in as well. But you know, the work you do doesn't go unnoticed. It is truly a benefit to our community, and the changes that we've seen here, the revitalization, the growth, a lot of that is built on the backs of what you put in place, what you strive for, and what you will produce. And we are so grateful for that effort for your team and what you guys accomplished with, you know, such a small group. So much is getting done. You know, we can't thank you enough, and I know our other departments that work with you are grateful as well, and I know you'll probably share this award with some of them also. But Tina, I do want to thank you, and you know, congratulations on this award. I'll allow you to say a few things.
So thank you, Mayor Dye. We're truly delighted to be recognized by our profession's Texas Chapter of the American Planning Association for the Planning Department's accomplishments for the City of Farmers Branch. Councilman Driscoll, I know you're out there in Zoom land, but I don't know if you recall a conversation that you and I had back in November of 2019 when we were attending the Texas Chapter APA conference in Waco, Texas. And we were at the awards luncheon watching all the other cities being recognized for their planning excellence. And I told you, we should be on that list. Well, here we are today. So I'm very excited when we found out that we were being recognized for our efforts. Obviously, we would not be able to receive this planning excellence recognition if it was not for the support of our mayor, our city council, the Planning and Zoning Commission, our city management team, as well as many other colleagues in other departments that participate in our planning efforts. Sustainability and public health. Economic development. We know Allison needs us to get her projects across the finish line. Public works, parks and recreation, fire prevention, community services. It takes all of us working together, whether it be long-range planning and visioning, new development and redevelopment projects, or adaptive reuse of existing buildings. I'd like to thank the Planning and Zoning Commission, and David Moore, Chairman, is here this evening. You've worked diligently alongside our planning team, supporting us, challenging us all along the way. You expect the best out of our team, as well as the developers who are seeking to build within our community too. But most importantly, this planning excellence recognition goes to this wonderful group of people that I have the opportunity to work with every day. I have Jennifer Paz, Sharupa Sen, Brian Campbell, and Kira McCardle on my team. I could not be more proud of the planning department team as they work very diligently and put in the extra hours necessary to help make the city the best that it can be. The work that our team does affects our community's built environment and how our community's residents and employees experience our city. We are always striving to improve our built environment, educating people along the way, maybe being a thorn in the side for some, but hopefully inspiring others to think about and think beyond what physically exists today. We continue to challenge the developers and our colleagues to recognize what our community can become so that we can continue to better position our community for the future. So our team is very proud of all that we have accomplished together, especially during this past year, as we know many have experienced these challenges just as much as we have. and we look forward to much continued success in those years to come. So thank you very much. We appreciate the recognition.
So next is our report on study session items, which will be led by Councilmember Ratana.
Thank you, Mayor. I will try and be brief. We had a couple of items during our study session. First, we had discuss regular agenda items. There was no discussion as no council member brought up any items up during this particular item. A2, receive a report regarding the feasibility of a mulching operation at Camelot Landfill. There were several discussions around capacity, around how to extend the life of the landfill. And as far as the process, there were definitely several items that were necessary in order to proceed with something like this, as well as some challenges such as location, floodplain, but looking at alternatives, as well as some financial challenges that were associated with this potential initiative should it go forward. During council discussion, there was a discussion over diversion programs and the costs associated, as well as other potential options and temporary options, as well as capacity and really protection of our landfill. The discussions will continue for potentially to find an alternative for our future for this initiative, and so that's where we left off that particular discussion. The next item up was A3, receive a report on crime trends and action plans by the Farmers Branch Police Department. There was a report on the different trends of crime in our city. Two particular trends that were regarding our 9% increase in crime from 2016 to now, with an 18% growth in our population. Three of the highest crimes that we see in our city are related to crimes against a person, a property, and society at large. We saw a 76% increase in crimes against persons, a 6% increase in crimes against property, and a 21% decrease in crimes against society. Many of the statistics presented do have some COVID sensitivity, so I will encourage all of you, if you would like more information, to go to our website and access the information online, as well as watch the video for a more in-depth look into all of these different statistics, as our chief really did a great job of going into depth on some of these particulars as it relates to each category. He also went over some action plans. Some of those included license plate readers, increasing license plate readers, increasing officer coverage in hotspot areas, increasing foot traffic in those areas, and increased communication to multifamily communities, among others. Again, we really encourage you, if you want more information or if you want to go into, look at some of the discussion into more detail, please visit our website, farmersbranchdx.gov, to view the study session materials. Our final item was the discussion of future agenda items, and my understanding is there was also no discussion. Is that correct?
On future items?
Yes.
Councilmember Lynn had one.
Oh, I apologize. Councilmember Lynn did have an item, but I did not write that down. Councilmember Lynn, can you advise the item that you want us to bring up for future agenda items? I apologize.
So I'd asked Chief Hale to prepare some report on how the police department addresses the use of paper plates and the lack of registration and license registration and inspection stickers on vehicles in Farmers Branch.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry, I apologize about that. And that is all for our study session, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Rotana. Next is City Manager's report on items of community interest.
Thank you, Mayor. Cooks Creek will receive a $3.2 million upgrade soon, partially funded by a federal emergency management grant. The improvements will widen and improve the concrete line channel from B Street to Spring Valley. The grant will pay more than $2.4 million of the total cost. The city will cover the remainder out of the Stormwater Utility Fund. The Cooks Creek project will take 46 of 65 homes out of the floodplain. The work should begin later this year and be complete in 2023. Holiday Craze is a recreational day camp program operated by the Farmers Branch Parks and Rec Department and is open to children ages 6 to 12 as of March 15th. The program will meet during spring break at the Farmers Branch Historical Park, March 15th through 19th. The program includes fitness activities, arts and crafts, and on-site entertainment. Call 972-247-2607 for more information or visit fbreccenter.com. Another successful Farmers Branch Power Switch reverse auction took place on Tuesday, January the 26th, with Houston-based Chariot Energy coming out on top. The company offers two 100% renewable fixed-rate plans. The winning rates are 18 to 21% lower than the market average, and residents still have time to sign up. Everyone who registers by February the 9th will receive a personalized offer with a link to access information. Find out more at fbpowerswitch.com. A COVID-19 vaccine reminder for Farmers Branch residents categorized as Phase 1A or 1B have the ability to utilize Dallas County's 5 vaccination hubs where the COVID-19 vaccine is being administered. The county also has an online registry where citizens can enroll to get vaccinated. To join the waiting list, visit Dallas County's website, dallascounty.org. Other hubs and their registration websites can be found at the State Health Department's website. To register with Dallas County by phone, call 855-466-8639. Some hubs are prioritizing different populations, and officials have suggested registering with multiple hubs to increase your chances of getting the shots. And finally, you can sign up for e-news at farmersbranchtx.gov to have current city news and information delivered directly to your email inbox. With that, Mayor, that's the City Manager's report. Thanks.
Thank you. It's also a quick update. Councilmember Rotana has been working hard on providing a push within the community that's going to allow for hopefully several residents that haven't had an opportunity to sign up for the COVID vaccine to do so. And I'm going to allow Councilmember Rotana at this moment to kind of share what that program might look like.
Thank you so much, Mayor. So as you all know, my background is in healthcare and conversations with Judge Jenkins and also Dr. Wong, our head of Dallas County Health and Human Services. One of the pushes that they've had is really encouraging organizations and leadership to create vaccine registration hubs. There has been a decrease in registrations, specifically in our minority community, as well as some of our lower socioeconomic communities. And so in partnership with the city, we're going to, and also with the county, we're going to be hosting a vaccine registration drive. There are a lot of folks that sometimes don't know how to access a computer, don't know how to use technology. And so we're trying to make it easier, as other organizations have taken it upon themselves to also create these registration hubs around different parts of our region. And so we're going to be hosting a drive the weekend of the 13th. And so more information to come on the logistics and the times, but really we're just wanting to offer the opportunity for those that may not be able to access a computer, may not be able to really know how to register, and give them the opportunity to register. And we'll be doing a drive-in registration there. We've also partnered with El Rancho that's going to help us spread the word, as well as looking to partner with some of our multifamily communities to also do some on-site registrations. It's really important for individuals to register, even if you're not part of the 1A, 1B, because the goal is when those new groups open up, the county wants to already have those individuals registered in their site so they can go ahead and start signing them up when it's time for them to get their vaccine. Another thing is there's been a lot of questions around the vaccine itself, some misconceptions, and so we'll have those FAQs and more information during those registration sites to encourage or just answer folks questions related to the vaccine and what exactly the side effects are, the origination, and so on and so forth. So we're really excited, and thank you, staff, for bearing with me on this project. I think it's really important for individuals to be educated on the vaccine, but also have the opportunity to sign up. And so really just excited for the opportunity. And our hope is that if we get enough individuals that want for us to extend this, that we add more dates to registrations and maybe other potential locations. So thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity to talk about that.
Thank you. Thank you for your efforts. Next is citizen comments. There's a 3-minute time limit for each citizen to speak, with a reasonable limitation on speakers for one topic or item, with a maximum of 15 total minutes on that same topic. Anyone wishing to speak shall be courteous or cordial. As you know, just an update, signups are either through the city manager's office with our city secretary or online under the city council page. You need to sign up to speak 30 minutes prior to the meeting and select which item you would like to speak to, for or against, and just kind of that is the new process. So we have one person signed up to speak for citizen comments, Mr. Omar Roman. Name and address, please.
Hello, 2001 Whittington Place. I don't have anything to contribute at this moment. I just wanted to reserve my right to speak. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Next is our consent agenda. Before I look for a motion, we do have one individual signed up to speak to every single item. That would be I-1 through I-7. Mr. Roman, if you would like to come speak at this time to any of these items, you may do so. I'll give you a 5-minute limit on that one.
I also don't have anything to contribute at this time towards any of the agenda items, but I appreciate your time. I just wanted to reserve my opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I have a motion by Councilmember Ratana.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Baumgartner. I guess since, Michael, you're out there and on the line, as they say, I'll go ahead and just do a quick roll call. I guess, is there any more discussion before we do that? Councilmember Ratana? Aye. Councilmember Norwood?
Aye.
Councilmember Lynn?
No.
Is that for all of them or just one?
For I-7.
You need to pull it off. Or it could just pass. Could it just pass 4-1? All of them?
I think it's better to pull the one off and have it clean.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to backtrack. I would say let's make a motion to pull I-7 off of the consent agenda.
You can do that yourself, just move it to regular.
Just move to regular, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and move I-7 to a regular item. We will handle that after the consent agenda. So make a motion for I-1 through I-6, please.
Sure, Mayor. I move to approve the consent agenda, I-1 through I-6.
I have a motion by Councilmember Ratana.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Baumgartner. Any more discussion? Councilmember Ratana, how do you vote? Aye. Councilmember Norwood?
Aye.
Councilmember Lynn?
Aye.
Councilmember Baumgartner?
Aye.
Councilmember Driscoll?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Next is I-7. Does anyone have any discussion before we vote on that item? Do you have any discussion you want before that item?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to go back and sort of recap my comments from the last time we discussed this particular item. My difficulty with this particular item, as I previously stated, is that I think we're trying to create a solution for a problem that doesn't exist at this time. This issue's been studied twice before by charter review committees chaired by Nancy Hardy, longtime resident and very well respected. They decided at both of these review committees that the current rules in place by the Texas Ethics Commission are sufficient for the City of Farmers Branch. So, the question is, why should the City of Farmers Branch ordinances be stricter than what the what has been set by the Texas legislature and the Texas Ethics Commission. When looking at campaign donations, this is my opinion, that people would like to see who's donating to campaigns, as it tells a lot about the candidate and their supporters. So, for example, if John Doe is running for city council and you see that candidate Smith is, or John Doe's running for council and John Smith donates money to John Doe's campaign, and maybe you don't care for John Smith, or John Doe rather, or John Smith, either one, that might influence the way you vote for a particular candidate. But my fear really is the fact that by imposing stricter limitations on the way candidates are able to raise money, that one, only rich people will be able to run for office. One of the hardest things for people to do is ask their neighbors for money. Most won't, and thus good people may be put off or won't put forth the effort to run. Secondly, this could lead to under the table or backroom dealings where you may not know how candidates are getting all of their funding. It could open the door for more graft and corruption coming from imposing this type of $1,000 limitation. And then three, PACs, political action committees, will become more powerful, and they'll be able to put forth or info and put out propaganda in the marketplace on behalf of candidates or against candidates, and you may not know who's funding those PACs. And that, to me, is an issue. That's a real, it's probably the strongest issue because many of these PACs aren't located here. Several of us on the council have been recipients of anti-propaganda, and some true, some untrue, but coming from outside of the city. And we don't know by who. So, you know, I'm not aware of an issue or a problem that we have in Farmers Branch. I understand that other cities have implemented limitations, but again, what that could breed in terms of how people get their funding concerns me. And that is why I think I'm supporting the current program that we have in place, which requires everybody to list every donor that they have and report that to the city on their campaign finance report. So, thank you.
Councilmember Lynn, I just want to say, you know, those comments that you made last time were heard and received by many, and what came from that was a move to adopt Plano's model, which all the things that you're asking for in terms of listing everyone that donates, there's no cap on the amount that someone can donate. You don't have to worry about what the PACs are and aren't doing. They can donate to your campaign as well. All that we've done is said, if anyone or any group donates over $1,000 to your campaign, you must now recuse yourself from that vote at the city council level, which, you know, doesn't take away from any of the things that you said. You can raise as much money from as many people as you want. It's just what this is intended to do is purely eliminate the idea or perception of impropriety and campaign contributions of a level beyond that, saying that you have to recuse yourself does that, which, you know, while it's not a limit, you can donate as much as you want. You just need to know that if John Doe donates $1,001 to me, or, well, I don't vote, but let's say John Norwood, and an action comes before the city council, he must recuse himself from that vote, and the rest of the council members take that up. And so that is the direction of the new policy, which was kind of what I felt was consensus of everybody after that conversation, just a few weeks ago.
So, Mayor, if I could ask a question, because what it didn't specify was how long of a period. So let's say let's just say candidate's running for office now, because we have an election coming up in May, and somebody donates $1,500 to that particular candidate. It comes from a business. They're elected for a 3-year term. So for those 3 years, can they have to recuse themselves from anything to do that might or have any relevance to that particular donor? And then what happens if they get reelected without, maybe without an opponent or without the need of additional funds? Do they have to recuse themselves for that second term in office? That hasn't been clarified here. And so, that we're just, right now, it's just open-ended that you got to recuse yourself. For how long? And then what happens if that person who took that money originally runs for mayor, but doesn't receive an additional contribution from that person who sort of created this issue in the first place, the original $1,500 contributor? Do they have to recuse themselves during the term of their serving as mayor? So none of that is specified, and I do think they're very valid questions in trying to address this.
I think a recusal from anyone, whether it's mayor or city council member, like I said, if someone were to donate $1,000 to me and they were in front of us, I would step away and recuse myself under this policy. And if it needs to be clarified, I would say that this is per that term. So per term. Because not everyone's going to run again, and if you choose to run a second time, you're probably seeking additional campaign contributions. Charles might have some clarification on that.
I just want to mention, just in reading the proposed ordinance, there is a sentence in there that kind of addresses what is being discussed. It says the recusal requirement applies only to contributions made to members of the city council for their current elected position and not to any prior elected positions held.
Mayor, I have a quick question, just a point of clarification. Would it be anything over 1,000, or would it be 1,000 included? Because I think the example you mentioned was somebody gives 1,000. I just wanted to make sure.
It says in excess of $1,000.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure. Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Baumgartner?
Yeah, just, one comment as I've thought more about this. I think Plano's solution is a good solution. And the fact is what we're doing, the status quo, isn't working for us. And the reason I'll say it's not working for us is that I know 3 out of 5 council members have been called out, and I think inappropriately, by other people on the council during the time I've served for taking, reportedly unethical bribes, including me. And so this policy can only serve to help. It's not going to, it can't hurt the system because the system isn't working, and there were instances of that even before members of this, that I served with were also called out for the same thing. So I think that, I struggled for a while, and I started closer to you, but I think the appearance of impropriety, it gives people citizens reason to talk and not trust people who aren't close. It gives people who are, dividers and mumblers the opportunity to go out and divide the city politically. And I just think that that this is a good solution, and we should move forward with it.
Councilmember Driscoll, do you have anything?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would like to just kind of echo Mr. Baumgartner's comments. And I thought we discussed this pretty thoroughly in the last meeting. And I believe at that time I said that I don't have any problem if we have a little bit higher standards than what's required by the state of Texas here in Farmers Branch. And having reflected on that even more and talked to some residents, I think it would be to our credit if our standards are a little bit higher than what's required. I've never been one that's wanted to adhere to just the minimum expectations of things I've been involved in and things I've done. I think that society's perceptions of government, of institutions, schools, hospitals, all kinds of things has been called into question more in the last years. And I believe that this is a positive step. And I think the ordinance that's been adopted by Plano speaks to all these issues. And I think not just undue influence, but the appearance and the perception of that is vitally important in restoring public confidence in government all across the board. And when I worked in banking and finance, we had a lot of regulations on what we could do, what we could talk about, could not trade our own accounts, et cetera, et cetera. And those rules some people complained about. I never did. They were there for a purpose, to have integrity in the financial institutions. And I think this is a small but a very important step that I totally endorse in helping to hopefully restore public confidence in our governmental institutions. And I think it speaks well to transparency and for those that are concerned about the influence of money in our political system. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Driscoll. Does anyone else have any comments?
I do.
Go ahead.
So I'm not going to reiterate what everybody else said. I resonate with the comments of Councilmember Driscoll and Councilmember Baumgartner. I will just say that I have been one of those that has had to recuse myself from an issue that was very near and dear to my heart, that I had personal interest in and had worked over a series of years to make better, but I had to recuse myself, and it was one of the hardest things I had to do on this council. And I think that if it created the correct public perception, it was worth doing wholeheartedly. And so I strongly support this resolution.
So I don't know that there's anybody here that's more transparent than me, but that's a bold statement to make, but I'm making it. And having been the direct victim myself of several comments that have not sat well, I'm all about transparency. And I'm all about making sure that our public servants are honest and that they're doing what they're supposed to do. This, in my mind, needed some clarification because it seems sort of open-ended. I don't really care if there's a $1,000 limit or not, okay? My goal, my first campaign, I was trying to fund it myself, but that quickly became a little bit out of reach. But the open-endedness of this, I think, is what needed to be addressed more than anything else. So it sounds like there's general consensus amongst everybody here, and so for the sake of unity of this council, I won't vote against this any further. I just wanted to have my say on this particular issue and make sure that it was noted properly.
Thank you. And with that, I will make a motion to approve ordinance number 3647, which is item I-7. Second by Councilmember Norwood. Any more discussion? We'll do roll call again. Councilmember Ratana? Aye. Councilmember Norwood?
Aye.
Councilmember Lynn? Councilmember Baumgartner?
Aye.
Councilmember Driscoll?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Next is our public hearings. J1, ordinance number 3678. Conduct a public hearing and consider adopting ordinance number 3678 for the IH 35E Corridor Vision Study, amending the City of Farmers Branch Comprehensive Plans, approximately 463 acres, generally located along both sides of IH 35E freeway, extending from the north city limit line to the south city line, and generally bounded by the DART BNSF railroads on the west, and on the east by Denton Drive, Rawhide Creek, Valley View Lane, the rear property lines of properties on Nestle Street, Havenhurst Street, B Street, Wicker Avenue, and the rear property lines of properties fronting on Hermitage Street and Cooks Creek Channel, and the west property lines of the residential lots fronting B Street, and take appropriate action. Ms. McCardle.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Kira McCardle. I'm a consultant to the Planning Department. The purpose of this agenda item is to hold a public hearing and consider adoption of the I-35 Corridor Vision Study. The study is a result of a year-long process that involved extensive analysis and public engagement that was conducted with the help of our consultant team led by Interface Studio. The I-35 Corridor Vision Study provides a roadmap for the corridor and advocates for the creation of a modern urban industrial district with opportunities for mixed use and highway commercial development. Additionally, the vision study sets out a detailed set of strategies, which are concrete steps that the city can take to help implement the plan, as well as a detailed implementation matrix to help in the implementation and monitoring of the plan over time. On January 11th, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing and made a unanimous recommendation in support of the I-35 Corridor Vision Study. Scott Page and Stacy Chen are here today over Zoom to provide a brief presentation on the plan, and after that, the consultants, Scott and Stacy, as well as staff, will be available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just share my screen and make sure there are no sound issues. Okay, and I will give a high-level overview of the vision study. The vision and the recommendations from the study came out of both the data analysis and public input process. And that process occurred through various touch points over the last year. The resulting vision is for a 20-year period, and it takes into account several factors. The corridor is a major employment center, and we anticipate that it will continue to be so. However, it's also evolving into a more mixed-use place where people live and also do business. To lift the profile of the corridor in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, it must become an attractive front door that better represents the city. So we developed 5 goals that help support the vision. I'm not going to read through all of this, but I will say that, the thrust of it is that we need to create a modern industrial district. There needs to be a focus on improvements along the highway, and also Valley View Lane, which is identified as a very important corridor in the district and the best corridor for mixed-use, compact, walkable development. The future land use here is an expression of the vision in a land use map. And you can see that the corridor will remain a place for businesses. The color blue on this map illustrates where we've identified land uses to remain commercial and industrial employment centers, but we also identified places where change is desired. And so the station area obviously is already a place where mixed-use development is underway, and we anticipate that more areas for change will radiate out from the station area over time. So in relation to that, we identified 4 target areas for improvements and change, and you'll see that they they follow that idea of, really highlighting the highway and really highlighting the Valley View corridor. So station area extending to the west side of the highway in target area 1 for more compact development. Target areas 2 and 3 being identified as places for businesses to start up and to grow, whether they're small, medium, or large-scale businesses. And then target area 4 along the highway being a highway commercial district for businesses like restaurants and retail. And finally, in terms of implementation, we identified with the public input and consultation with Planning Commission and with Council the strategies you see on this chart here, and we mapped it out over the 20-year period of the plan. And we identified 4 important requirements for implementation. One of which is the coordination between these projects, the collaboration throughout the municipality, resource allocation to fund the projects, and then finally regularly monitoring the progress of these strategies and making sure that the plan is updated as things change over time. And with that, I will open it up to questions.
Okay. Councilmember Ratana?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Norwood?
No question.
Councilmember Lynn?
Thank you. I'm curious whether to date there's been any coordination with the North Texas Central North Texas Council of Governments regarding grant funding for any of the betterments that we have been looking at. Have we made application? Have we secured anything? Or are we still too early in the entire process?
Stacy and Scott, I'll take that one. Tina Fergens, Director of Planning. So yes, we have been in coordination with the North Central Texas Council of Governments and working with them to receive funding for some of the improvements, particularly Valley View Lane and Denton Drive. We have been awarded back in December of 2020, a little over $5.8 million to be allocated towards those improvements. Also, with respect to betterments, we wait to hear from TxDOT in their additional work with the Council of Governments regarding if there's going to be any additional funding that's being allocated towards the intersection improvements at Valley View Lane and Valwood Parkway at I-35, that the work that the betterments community worked on. And in fact, this afternoon, I was just on a call with Dallas County, also working with them for potential funding opportunities to see if they might be able to partner with as well to help fund some of the improvements.
Okay, so I take it that the Betterments Committee that we have, along with the new members that have been appointed from each council district, will now be involved in making these determinations and recommendations moving forward?
As it relates to the betterments at the intersections, yes, we would continue to have their involvement.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilmember Baumgartner?
No questions at this time.
Councilmember Driscoll?
No questions at this time. I think we had all the questions answered before, and just like to commend the consultancy on the work. I think this is one of the best studies that I've seen in the last few years. Excellent job.
Stacy and Scott, yeah, definitely will echo that. Your time and effort into this. I know it's been a long time coming and several rounds through both planning and zoning and the city council level to get to where we are today. And it's much appreciated because this is a true window into our city and the front door and one of the prime areas of focus. And so having this vision that not only is, includes the station area, but goes beyond that and is destined to look, 20, 25 years out is going to be transformative for our community. And just want to thank you for that effort, as well as the effort of Tina, Kira, and the entire planning staff and all the departments that weighed in on this as well, because I know it was a Herculean effort, and we appreciate that, because this started, I think, one of the first meetings. Councilmember Blackson was here when,
Yes.
and he's shows you how long it takes to get something done in city government, to where he's already off the council by the time this is making it to this desk. But I'm sure he's going to be proud of what comes from this after this is all done. So just want to thank y'all for that effort.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. We do have one person signed up to speak. Mr. Roman. Name and address, please.
Omar Roman, 2001 Whittington Place. So I was looking through the study and just reviewing some of the pages that were on there. I just came up with a few questions that I'd appreciate some clarity on. I think first and foremost, I think we've talked about it just a little bit right now, but one of the questions I sort of had was like, well, where's the money coming from to fund this? I didn't know if this was going to be a grant or if this was going to be, money that had already been allocated to the side for a project like this, or if we were going to expect to raise property taxes as a way to fund this. So I was just sort of curious about that. But I think the other thing, and I guess, as more funding opportunities become available and as you guys hear about it, I think I'd appreciate just hearing, as a citizen, hearing about, what funding and resources are actually available for a project like this, not just, ones that are potential opportunities, but as if, as one gets granted, I'd appreciate learning about that. That way we can sort of anticipate what the financial consequences and responsibilities are going to be for the citizens as we undertake a big project like this. And then I also was sort of curious about what the financial impact would be for the citizens from this, because quite often I think I saw the words written in the packet multiple times. I think that said like increased property values, and so I think. With that usually comes increased property taxes, not just for the place that you're doing the construction on, but sort of the neighboring businesses and residences. So I was just curious to see if anything had been looked into to determine what the actual financial impact would be for the citizens in Farmers Branch. And then the other thing that I sort of was concerned about was as we're attracting more, as it looks nicer and we're attracting, more people to engage in the city, one concern came to mind, which was safety. I think whenever something looks really nice, it can attract really good attention, but also really bad attention. And so I didn't know if you guys had considered, allocating additional resources towards the police department or towards the first responders as a way to sort of alleviate any potential issues where they didn't have enough individuals or enough resources to be able to respond to calls because of all the construction and all of the things that are going on in the area. So with that, I appreciate your time, and that's all I had to say.
Thank you very much. To answer a few of your questions, this is definitely a huge partnership. It's not just on the backs of the city of Farmers Branch, and it is our endeavor to, I think, do this in a way that is responsible to the citizens of Farmers Branch. With new growth does come increased tax values and revenue to the city, but what comes from that is also increased value of your homes and properties around it, but with that comes better amenities and things that residents can enjoy. But the way we're gonna look at funding some of this is not only partnerships with the COG, partnerships with the county, partnerships with developers, and the TIF that is currently in place is something that we are exploring, not only since we just extended it, but looking at expanding it as well. So as future development comes up, how can we reserve some of that tax base to put that back into this area, and what other economic development tools do we have that we currently use in other developments in the city to help fund that? And as this area grows, as it is definitely successful, what you're going to see from that is hopefully increased sales tax revenue, which comes straight back to the city, and other things that as that grows, as that base gets larger, hopefully what we're able to do is lower the tax burden for our residents in response to that. So hopefully not only is it beneficial to our community, it increases values for everyone that lives here, but adds amenities and also hopefully still makes it affordable to live in Farmers Branch. And that's the goal of this plan. And as we build out that corridor, as that vision takes place, what you're going to see is a new, improved, higher and better use and just more pleasant approach as you drive through the city in between the station area and our west side. And so, that's kind of the commitment that we've all kind of had talking through this and the different ways that we're going to move forward. But that's kind of the commitment from council, is to move in that direction so that it is not on the backs of the residents every step of the way, but how are we leveraging the assets and funding available to us to make this as successful as possible. Hopefully that answers your question. Is there any other questions or discussion from City Council at this time? Mr. Driscoll, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Councilmember Lynn?
Mayor, I was just going to say, maybe just explain a little bit further about the TIF and the action that we took at the last, I think it was the last meeting, just so everybody knows, because there may be people who aren't aware that we formed the TIF for that area.
So we haven't formed the TIF yet. What was discussed was an action item to come forward that would form a TIF that would extend beyond what the TIF is currently, which is just in the station area view right now. So we would extend it to the full area of the corridor that's a part of the study. And from that, which is what needs to be decided, is at what level we're committing to that. I think there's still some discussion around that, but it will be at a level to where a lot of the funds that are developed or that are generated from this growth are held in reserve to put back into this area to fuel more development with the developers and through partnerships. And so that action will be coming at a future council agenda item, but it is a tool we are looking at utilizing to help with this development and see this growth possible so that it's not an increase to anyone's taxes here. And so that's kind of our commitment, what we're looking for, and what was kind of the consensus of council to at least have that discussion with the desire to put something in place that provides that mechanism to not only the city, but to developers as well. Seeing no more, I guess, comments, I would say I would make a motion to close the public hearing and adopt ordinance number 3678.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Ratana. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. I'm going to read an executive session. B1, council may convene into a closed executive session pursuant to Government Code Section 551.076 of the Texas Government Code regarding deliberation regarding security devices. Council may convene into a closed executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.087 of the Texas Government Code regarding discuss incentive agreement with Project RIM. We will recess. It is 7:13.